Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good day or evening wherever you are and things are going your way. Today, we're going to have a little chat. I hope you have your tea or coffee in front of you and just relax. I'm having green tea with green tea. It says a blend of smooth green tea leaves and tropical fruits. Harmony to your cup, something like that. And then with the freshly cut pineapple and guava and stuff like that. So I'm supposed to be now believing that this is the best tea of its kind. And I do. Or should I? That is the question we want to examine today. That should we believe our thoughts? And why is it that we tend to believe what we think? We just go through it a little bit, digging in, and perhaps together we find something from this exploration. How our psyche works and how we tend to think what we think is the actuality or the absolute truth. And why is that? Well, for me to believe what I just read on this tea package, the first criteria would be that I wouldn't know anything more than what is being offered here. That I would limit my research to what I just read and conclude that this information is the total information that is out there. These are some of the ingredients that makes us to believe something that we come to know of. So let's examine that. In order for one to believe something, there are certain criteria that should be met. Some of which, I'm sure we're not going to cover all the points in this topic, but some of which points perhaps we can say, if I think of something, to believe that thought, to believe something, I must believe, or I must be thinking that what information is offered to me, whether by my own thoughts or however I conclude that, is as much information as there is for me to consider on that topic. That's one. So how does that happen? Well, human being believes only what he can see or know. If I can see this cup of tea, it's good reason for me to believe that this is what it is. I can see it firsthand. Or if someone that I trust, or a source that I trust it, would give me information and I have belief in that source, that person or that source. So therefore, again, I consider that I know. So either I know it myself, I see it myself, or I know it through either personal experience or that I believe the source where I got this knowledge that I say I know. So that means voluntarily I decided that that's all I need to know in order to believe something. Now, let's talk about our thoughts. Then why is it that we believe our thoughts? Well, the same thing. Everyone's world is in here. The content of our consciousness whatever is accumulated in our psyche, in our consciousness, in our memory, is the limits of our knowledge about something, our experiences, and so on and so forth. So on that basis, we see the world. And the world, therefore, has become as vast as it is, and as much as we've been encouraged and told and informed that nature, universe, the world is unlimited, is huge, is beyond our imagination, and so on, but yet we have somehow managed to think of this unlimited world representing itself with the limited knowledge that we have accumulated in our memory. Because we see the world, each one of us see the world according to the limits of our consciousness, the content of our consciousness. So therefore, each one of us have managed to decrease this unlimited world to a limited fragment, and consider that limited fragment, which is housed in our consciousness, as the representation of the unlimited world. So we kind of created an illusion, fool ourselves that the world that we know, that we believe is unlimited, yet its unlimitedness is limited to what we have in our consciousness. So we say it's unlimited, while we are seeing that unlimitedness with the limited information and the content that we have in our consciousness. It's kind of oxymoron, kind of silly, but if you think of it, that's exactly what it is. We have condensed the whole nature, whole life, the whole world to a limited amount of knowledge that we have up here, and we consider this to be that unlimited world. And therefore we believe everything that is in it, because we have managed to put a frame due to the limited information stored in our consciousness. We have put a frame around this unlimited world, unlimited knowledge. Therefore, we are constantly believing things that very well may not have the actuality or be the complete amount of information that we would need to believe that's what it is. Let me elaborate a little bit more. How do you think this new gadget of virtual reality headsets that have come to the market works? Why is it that you actually believe what you see to be so extraordinarily and affect you and feel so complete as what you're seeing? You believe, you feel a different feeling when you're watching a movie through a virtual reality headsets than if you're just sitting and watching watching that same movie on your TV or in a widescreen in a theater. Why is it that you feel a lot more enhanced emotions, involvement with the happenings in that movie, and become part of that movie and believe that whatever you see is exactly as if it's happening, that it's an actuality, it has a reality to it? Why does it have a reality, an actuality to it when you use this virtual reality headsets? Well, think about it. What it does when you put it on, it closes anything and everything else that can come through your field of vision. You will see nothing but that. Everything else from this corner to that corner is only that screen of the video, the movie. Which means it automatically limits or takes you to the outer limits of whatever possibly you could see. Therefore, your brain, your mind thinks that that's all there could ever be, because that's all you can see. Remember, just a few seconds ago we said we believe things, one of the criteria is if we see it. And whatever we see, we believe it because we're seeing it. Is from us. It gives the information firsthand. So when you have this virtual reality headsets on, you see nothing else but what it shows you. And even if you try to look, there is nothing else available for you to see. So when you cannot see any further, that's what you think the limit of the information, or the limit of the happening, the limit of the picture, the limit of whatever it is. So therefore that becomes an absolute for you. And therefore you become totally forgetful about whatever else that could exist, and you see yourself in relation to that scene, and you become part of it, and therefore the effects of it on you is total, as if that is the actuality of whatever there could be there in that scene. So the effect of it is because you have limited or proven to yourself that that's all the information or the picture or the photo or the scene that you could see, that there could be out there. When that happens and you believe it, therefore you have no other reason to further your exploration or your research to see if there's anything else. You are resolved that, okay, this is it. So first thing that happens in this virtuality thing is that they limit the field of the vision to what you would consider to be the total thing, because total is when you cannot find anything more. And in that frame, when you have that thingy on, you can't see anything. You can see the limits of it, and nothing more you can see from left or right or up and down. So you're convinced that that's all there is. That's one thing. Now, and you hear no other sound either, just the sound, because your earphones, the thingies are in your ears too. So you're totally cut off from everything, and you're now totally believing that's what you hear and what you see is all there is. Therefore, there is no other reason to search anything further, and you actually feel that that's all there is. And when you're convinced that that's all there is, then you believe it. And you get those emotions that are extraordinary than if you were looking at it from the TV or cinema or theater and so on. So now let's come back to our head. Well, if that works there, obviously it works here too, because we too have limited the whole world, as we talked about, to the content of our consciousness, to the limits of our memory. When we don't have any more information of something in our memory, then we tend to think that that's all the information there is. So we believe that we are now faced with the end of our investigation and end of our research, and that's all the information is there because we're incapable of finding any more. And when we think we cannot find any more, we think then it's the totality of it, unfortunately. So when I have a certain amount of knowledge in our consciousness, and I look upon something based and according to, in relation to the content of my consciousness, which is limited, but yet to me that's the whole world, because that's all the tool and the knowledge I have in order to negotiate the world and understand and analyze whatever it is in life. Therefore, for me, that what is in content of my consciousness, which is limited, seems to be everything that there is, because that's the limits of my understanding. So every person on that basis, if they're not wise enough, if they're not aware of this, they believe that just because they cannot go any further in an analysis of something, or don't have any further information about something, therefore they conclude that that's all there is, therefore that's the fact, because there is no more there to be found. Which is because they feel then they have the total knowledge. When you learn about something and become knowledgeable about something, then that knowledge at the same time is representing ignorance, because knowledge and ignorance goes hand in hand, because when you're aware of something, but yet you think that what you know is a complete information about that something, that itself brings ignorance, represents ignorance. So, if that is the way things work, which means our knowledge being limited, always knowledge is limited, yet because the limitation of our memory and content of our consciousness and our experiences and our research and so on in life, we have a limited amount of information in our head, but it is encased and framed and created to represent the whole universe. Because just like we have put that virtual what was it, virtual thingy the headset on, and we limit the whole what is available, and then we believe what's limited because we think that's what's limited is the actual whole thing, and forget about its being limited. The same thing we have done in our mind, by the content of our consciousness. We have turned the whole world into a limited amount, and we think then we know everything. And because it's the only thing, and it's the extent of our knowledge is here, and we look through it, we search through it, and the only thing that we have to gauge the world, negotiate the world, is the limited amount of information that we have in our consciousness. Therefore, we conclude that because there's nothing else for us to find here, because we know nothing more, it's only limited, certain amount, each one of us, then we conclude that we know everything, or we know everything there is to know about that particular thing. So whatever it is that comes to our mind, to our thoughts, and there is nothing more to explore because it's all limited, we believe it's the whole thing, while it's fragmented amount of information, but we think it's the whole thing. And when we believe and resolve to believe that this is the whole thing, therefore we consider that to be reality. We consider that to be actuality. It's like we've put the blinds on. Nothing else exists. And if that's all I can understand, therefore that represents all that there is to know. Instead of me thinking what I understand is only limited, there's a lot more out there. Instead, I think I can't find anything more in this parameter, in this closed amount of information. It's limited amount of information. Therefore, I'm going to think, because I can't find it, then there must not be any. Then I conclude that I have everything. I know everything, which is very stupid. And it's representing ignorance. But at that point, for me, it just means that's the actuality. I can't find anything more. So I conclude that. Same thing when your thoughts come into your mind. If you have broken up if you're going through a relationship breakup, and you happen to think, oh, she was the best in the world for me. And in your mind, you have no other comparison or ability to analyze it against anything else. It's only that woman that you're thinking of. Up to that moment, maybe it's the only woman that you had experience with, or if you're a lady, maybe the only man that you experienced with, or maybe among all the girlfriends that you had, this one was the best one for you. So you conclude that she was the best because compared to what your content of your consciousness, the limit of your experiences, that was the best of that bunch. But because there's nothing more for you to be an example for you or point of comparison for you, there is no more experience that you had. You think, therefore, you conclude you have all the information about this to be in comparison to everything else that is in the world, because your world has been condensed to the content of your consciousness. And in the content of your consciousness, in your memory, in your experience, limited memory, all you can see is this experience. Therefore, to you, this experience, this woman, this relationship was the best of the best, because there is no way, there is no other way for you to have had any other experience to compare this with any other thing. Therefore, the lack of any more information or experience kind of proves to you that this must have been the best. But really, has it been the best, or is it because there's nothing else for you to have experienced to compare that with? But you're resolved because you are now have put in that virtual, what's the word of that thing? What is virtual whatever experience headset. You have created your mind to be that goggle that you've put on, and you're resolved to think that that's all there is. I have all the information. Lack of the information makes you feel that you have all the information. Lack of ability to find more information about something makes you to be fooled and to think that you know all the information that is out there. And when you think this is all there is out there, that is the ingredients for you to believe that it is the truth, the reality, the actuality, and nothing else can exist. Once you create that, once you don't realize that the reason you are thinking your relationship was the best, your girlfriend was the world, and everything else about what you went through was the best of the West, when you don't realize that the reason for all that is because you have simply put this virtual reality goggle on. You have decreased the whole, you cannot see any further. Your knowledge is limited to the content of your consciousness and to the limit of your memories, and all you can see is this, and you think therefore because it's all you can see, that is all the world that there is. This is all what the possibilities that there could be. Therefore you think you know the whole truth, the whole actuality. Nothing else other than that can exist, because nothing that other than that can be conjured up in your limited content of the consciousness. So it's not because really you know everything, it's because what you know you think is everything. It's not because you actually know every knowledge and every information, every exploration, every research, and everything that is out there for you to know. Is because what you think, the little that you know, the fragment that you know, the content of your consciousness, you think it's everything that is out there, because you, every one of us, have created this virtual reality goggle with the content of a consciousness, and we think that's what we see, that's what we know is everything that is out there to know. And that's why you believe that you've lost the biggest thing in your life, the biggest chance in your life, the love of your life. There's never going to be anything, because you have believed that to be the only possibility due to the limited information of your consciousness, of the content of your consciousness in your consciousness. Therefore, again, it is an illusion that you have created for yourself. You have condensed the whole world and possibilities of life into the limited content of your memory. Therefore, you think what you think is the whole thing. I hope I have made it clear for you that we have created an illusion of knowing everything about what you're going through and all the possibilities. Therefore, you're devastated because now you think, what else is out there? It's impossible. If I think what I know is the whole thing, therefore there is no hope for me to even search or expand my search for anything more, because I have just been concluded that whatever I went through, whatever I have, whatever I had is the whole thing. You have set a limit for myself. It is similar to the fact that you've conditioned yourself to think that you know everything, because you have conditioned to think that what is in your consciousness is all that there is out there. So I want you to open up your eyes and understand that it is impossible that one of us contain the total information that is possible to be in the world, in life, in the universe. Therefore, how can you think that the situation that you're going through, you're dealing with, is representing the whole possibilities that is out there, the whole possibilities of life, and the whole possibilities of you having a better life, furthering your chances, and having a wonderful life a little later on. And this is not the end of the world. This is not everything that there is out there, and it is only the illusion that you have created for yourself. And you can simply open your eyes and move on by knowing that you have simply put a virtual reality goggle on your head, believing the content of your consciousness is the whole information, and when you believe you know the whole thing, then you're limited to think that what you are going through is the whole thing and the end of the things. But it is not. It is just another opening that you got to turn around and open your eyes and see what wonderful things are out there, and nothing is limited as you have made yourself to believe in it. So, on that note, go on and exercise and have a good life, socialize with good people, and find new horizons and new happenings, and build your life and forward for better and bigger things. Have a wonderful day or evening, and talk to you soon.